Yo guys, what is going on? Got some more gameplay for you. This time, some pretty high level stuff. This was at the most recent Ultimate Cup this past weekend. I'm playing against my good friend Dan Ving. He's a really talented player. Lots of tops under his belt, so I think if you're trying to learn competitive Digimon, this is the video to watch, because there's definitely a lot of decision making going on. I think at this point we were both X1 round 6 or 7, pretty close to the end here. He's on Mirage, I'm on Ulforce. Of course, the mono-colored rules are in place, and a couple restrictions on cards, but nothing that really affects our decks. So you see here, we're both getting set up in the back. I decided to promote a little bit early with my Vidramon stack, just because my hand was pretty bad, so I really needed to filter, and playing Davis onto the Vidramon lets you draw a card off Vidramon, and searches off of Davis, so that's filtering through 4 cards in your deck. So Dan right there was telling me how he wishes he could have punished that, because there's the, I forget which Mirage Galgamon it is, or the level 5, that bounces like a level 4 to hand. So he's like, oh, I wish I could have promoted and punished you by bouncing the Vidramon. Even if he did do that, I wasn't too worried. Like, thankfully, because I know we're playing a blue mirror, I'm never going to lose any of my resources. If he does bounce the Vidramon back to hand, I could have just, you see there, I could have hatched, evolved that Vmon, evolved the Vidramon again, I'd be at 1 memory, and then just play out a tamer, put into 1 or something. So not the end of the world. Here I'm just going to filter 2 more cards by playing a V-Tamer tie, drawing off of that, and then drawing off the Vidramon, finally getting my level 5 there, Arrow Vidramon off of the blue memory boost, and still choking our friend here to 1. So pretty strong play. So sometimes hiding in the back against these sorts of matches where one stack can just completely out the other puts you really behind it in terms of tempo. It's not necessarily correct to always just hide in the back the whole time. You see here, because I promoted early, I'm able to gain so much value. I have so many resources here. I've got the memory tamer in play, champion in front, rookie in the back, plus an extra 2 memory off the memory boost. While Dan is a little bit behind. Not to say he's out of the game quite yet, because we're both getting set up here. But here I think I'm debating whether or not to go into the Ulforce, because I've got ample memory. I can go Arrow V for 3, and then boost, go back to 2, and then Ulforce, put him to 2. If I play Arena or play any sort of blue tamer, I'll be able to gain back the memory off of my Vmon and Vidramon inheriteds, keeping turn, as well as establishing my Ulforce. So here we're going to go Arrow Vidramon using its effect to grab the Davis. I believe I had the Rena at this point, so we're going to go Ulforce. Ulforce will play Blue Tamer. Yep, there's the Rena, gaining 1 off the Rena, 2 off the inheriteds, keeping turn back to 1, giving Ulforce blocker evade, swinging into security, Rena's effect, playing another 1, going back to 2, and here I essentially wanted to do this combo not to necessarily kill my opponent, but to basically gain back a couple memories so that I could evolve a champion in the back and then pass turn with an ultimate in the back, establishing another stack for him to deal with in the back. Not only will he have to answer my Ulforce in the front, but then I'll have a potential one next turn. Now here I did actually hit the Meteor Impact option card security, which is honestly totally fine. Like, even though it is a blowout card in security, in that situation, it just bounced the Ulforce back to my hand. I'm already so ahead in terms of advantage, like I said, because I was able to gain that extra memory. I've got the stack in the back ready to go. Leomon as well was a free play off of the Jerry, and here I'm debating, like, let's just go for a game. Realistically, the only thing that could stop me is another one of those option cards, but the chances that he's got another one in security are very low. So what I can do is just go Ulforce once again, gaining a billion memory, keeping turn. I'm at 3 at this point, and I just got multiple attacks off of the Ulforce. Every single time I play another blue tamer, I get to get an extra swing. Not to mention, I've got the first Leomon in play that can attack, and then here we're going to play a Davis to search the hybrid. So there's definitely no way my opponent is surviving, even if there is an option in security at this point. I'm going to swing Leomon for game, but Dan's like, nah bro, finish me off with Ulforce X. We can't go out like that. So it's going to be a really exciting game number 1, and hopefully here game number 2, my opponent is going to be able to show off a little bit of what he can do. But, so Dan's going to go ahead and hatch into the debut, which I actually don't know if I mentioned that egg. It's the, if you got 8 or more cards in your hand, gain 1,000. Playing that over Wanyamon I think is correct in Mirage, just because it's a little bit more of a glass cannon. In Ulforce, for example, you need the draws, and you can play around like that threshold because you've got evade to protect yourself from battle. So here I've got a similar situation to last game. Once again, I think I do have Davis in my hand. I've got the Vidramon in the back here. I'm going to go ahead and promote and do the exact same thing. Our opponent does have the Memory Tamer, so I'm not going to be able to really gain any sort of value off of the V. Oh, actually, no, that's not even the right Vmon, so regardless, it didn't matter. But we're going to filter 4 cards once again, and so our opponent is going to go Galmon here. And the reason I'm getting, like, it might seem a little bit greedy that I'm doing that, but I know that deck, and most decks turn 2 they can't really punish something like that. It usually takes a little bit longer, and even with a rookie he would specifically have to have a Galmon plus the exact mod Galgamon, and like I said, even if he does bounce it to hand, I can just re-evolve the Vidramon the following turn. So it's no big deal. So we're just going to go the Warp Vmon in the back here. That is the starter deck one, just an alt art there. This one's really good. The Warp doesn't really come up often at all, actually. I don't think playing this past Saturday, like, it came up at all, but the inherited effect is pretty solid. A non-once per turn draw can get you a couple of cards when you desperately need it. And here, once again, I'm debating, alright, well, do I hold this Aero Vidramon for my breeding area stack, or do I just go in? And I decided to just go in, but unfortunately not going to have the Ulforce here. We do have Ulforce X, which is definitely still solid, bouncing our opponent's Digimon to the hand. And with just a rookie in the back, I know he won't be able to answer me unless he just hard plays his Meteor option card, which in that case, okay, he's putting me back to 3. He's not advancing his game state. I'm fine with that. But you really don't want to see Ulforce X before Ulforce. Usually X is just like an extender or a way to interrupt your opponent on their turn, but without any arena in play already, it's not really the strongest play. So our opponent is going to use our Vidramon against us. He's going to go Aero Vidramon in the back with the unsuspend the BT4 Thomas in the battle area there. So we've got 2 checks from the Vidramon 2 times potentially. So if he does go Mirage, that is a total of 4 checks, and then if he has a correct Mirage, the BT11 one, he burns the security. So that's just 5 checks right there, basically. I'm going to go ahead and swing into security, dying to the Mirage Galgamon Burst Mode, which is totally fine here. I really just needed to get a draw of Wanya as well as the draw off the Vmon there, or the V-Tamer tie rather. I could have boosted him to 13, but I really just needed the draw, so I didn't really care if it died regardless. We're going to go Vidramon and then going to go Blue Memory Boost, hitting 3 cards I can't take, and then just going to grab the Aero Vidramon. I think I had a Ulforce at this point, but the only piece I was missing was the Reno, which was really unfortunate because I didn't have the correct Vmon inherited either, which ironically I did think I had in my hand. So you guys will see in a little bit. It might not end up mattering, but no, actually no, I'm lying. It does end up mattering. You'll see in a little bit. I'll point it out, but I'm basically 1 memory off from being able to steal this game as well. So our opponent is debating here. He's thinking if he promotes, okay, he can evolve the Mirage Galgamon for 4, and this is what I love, Dan. Like, we were just kind of talking back and forth this whole time, like, okay, like, what, because we know, like, each other's decks, we're like, all right, what could you do with this amount of memory? We're thinking, like, okay, well, right here, he could promote, go Mirage Galgamon for 4, put me to 1, it'll add the top card of my security, he'll gain 2 because I'll go to 8 in hand, and then he'll gain another off the inherited, gaining 3, going back to 2 memory, I think. So then I'd be at 4 security. He could swing 2 times because he got the unsuspend from Thomas, or if he does have the burst mode, that would give him the 5th check there because the unsuspend off the burst mode, since I would be at more than 8 cards in hand. But he's debating. I don't know if he was missing a piece here or not, but he's going to go ahead and go the Galmon. I think it was a little bit risky as well. If he hits any sort of interruption in security, it's over for him. But we're just going to go ahead and search, and then this way he's guaranteed lethal because not only does he have an extra swing from the Galmon, but he has an extra swing from the Thomas. So in my perspective right now, right, like imagine you're me, right? You're facing down this Galmon board. Yeah, I'm at 5 security. Do you promote here? Do you not? You can't play super conservatively from behind because right now I'm facing down lethal. Like there might be a world where I live because you're like, okay, well, he could hit a option card in security or a hammer spark or whatever, just something that could interrupt his turn, but for the most part, he has lethal on board. So regardless, if I don't promote, I lose. If I do promote, I lose if he has a combo anyway. So I just need to do something to increase my chances of surviving and or kill him this turn, which is not going to happen. Because right here is what I want to point out. Because I am missing the Rena, I'm going to go back to 2 with the blue memory boost, and then I'm going to go Ulforce to play Tamer. But I only have 1 memory gain off of the Veedramon. If I had the correct Vmon underneath that stack, which I had in hand at the time, I think. But I think I kept it there because I was like, oh, I wanted to search. But that was a misplay. Because I could have kept turn here, and then I would have been at 0. And then I could have swung with the Ulforce, at least got another draw off of the tie, and maybe not killed him, but I would have at least had... I mean, it might not have mattered, because in that scenario, I wouldn't have killed him, and then he would have just bounced it anyways with the burst mode. So maybe it didn't matter, but regardless, not having the arena definitely hurt. So we're going to go back to 3 memory here, rather, since he does have... since I think I had 12 cards in my hand at this point. So he's going to gain a bunch of memory, and then we're going to go, since Ulforce does have the evade blocker, if he does just try to swing, I'm definitely just going to block. So he's going to go Mirage Galgamon Burst Mode to just bounce it to hand, and then gaining 1 for every 4 cards in my hand. So going to 6, yeah, so at this point I had more than 12 in my hand. So he's just going to swing, and then I'm going to shuffle him up, bottom decking 4, keeping 8 in my hand, and then he's going to hit a Jerry. Now here, we're going to misplay a little bit. He does check 2. Right now I'm down to 7 cards in hand because I've got the Leomon, and then he's going to make me draw, going back to 8. The Mirage doesn't unsuspend here because I'm at 8 cards, so I didn't actually count at that point. I was like, oh, I have an extra card because he made me true, but I was actually at 8. Now here it doesn't matter because I have to block. Because if I don't block, I lose. I'm at 2 security. He's got another swing with the Thomas and the Thomas in hand, so it really didn't matter. But because I block, I'm going to now go to 9, and then he's going to get the extra string off the Mirage anyway. So a little bit of a misplay. Right there, but it didn't end up impacting anything just because he had the extra Thomas in hand regardless. And even if he did, like, let's say for some reason, like, he just wasn't able to kill me, I was still so behind, he just waits a turn, and I lose anyways. Not really much I could do there. So game number 3, we're going to make Dan go first. He's going to go Galmon plus Memory Boost, pretty solid. And then we're just going to go Rookie Champion Ultimate is a pretty solid opening play for Ulforce, which is why I loved going second with this deck. Not only do you want to answer your opponent, but because you get the extra card, you get the extra memory. So you already turn 1, you've established a level 5 in the back, and Ulforce is a deck that doesn't really need anything else aside from, well, not to say you don't need other pieces, but you don't need any other pieces on field. You can just go level 5 into Ulforce and then spit out like 2 or 3 Tamers in a turn and then do your full combo. So we're going to go Arrow Veedramon's effect. Whiffing for like the 50th time this match, by the way. And then just going to go Ulforce, Rena, gain back the memory, bounce the guy, swing security, draw some cards, play the Davis. Getting another search is pretty nice, unsuspending, and then grabbing the Vmon for next turn, and then checking security is going to be a Mirage Galgamon Burst Mode, which is a little bit unfortunate that... I'm going to have to force evade right here, but it actually ends up working out really nicely for me. Because I've got evade, I can protect, and then V-Tamer tie, we're just going to choke our opponent to 1, and then just unsuspend the Ulforce. So if for some reason he does decide to promote, he can't really attack here. I've got evade, not that that matters a lot against any sort of blue options, but again, it prevents an attack. So he's just going to go Memory Boost, pop gaining some memory, and then Veedramon into the Thomas here, already set up for a level 6 play, but that's alright because we've got 3 memories since we played the Davis, again, which is why, like, you see I went from level 5 with nothing else on field to level 6 with 3 Tamers on field, guaranteeing myself 3 memory with the Davis, an extra draw with tie, and then we're just gonna go in. So there's so many lines to play with this deck. I will say it's a pretty hard deck to master, I think, but very rewarding to play. So we're just going to go that Vmon in the back. I don't think I'm going to need it for the search this turn, so I'm just going to use it for the memory gain later on. So we're going to go Vmon, and then I'm debating here whether or not to attack, right? Because I think at this time I had 7 cards in hand. I might have been at 8, so I had definitely had a Tamer, because I think I had another V-Tamer tie. I was like, okay, I could just like play a tie, like Digivolve in the back, put myself to like 6 or 7. Yeah, because I would put myself to 7. But regardless, if he evolves Mirage, I go to 8, and then he gains back to 2 memory. So I'm thinking, alright, if I choke him to 1, if he gains 2 back, he'll still pass turn. But then I'm like, oh, wait, he has the Galgamon inherited, so he'll gain 3 back with the Mirage play. So even if I choke him to 1, he'll still be able to go Mirage, potentially Burst Mode to balance my Ulforce. So then I'm just debating, like, alright, well, should I even try to, like... like play around this, and I was thinking, okay, I could just hard play like a champion. I was thinking like I could just hard play the Leomon. I had a Lanamon in my hand as well, so I could put him to 2. But even then, like he just bounces it back. I still have an extra card, so even though I'm reducing the number of cards in my hand, I'm not really doing anything to advance my game state. So at the end, I was just like, all right, screw it. I don't care. I'm like, if I can't play around the memory game because he's going to be able to do the Mirage into burst mode regardless of how much I give him, I'm just going to go in. I'm just going to have a billion cards in. So I'll just draw off the Tide, draw off the Wanyamon, swing Jerry, not going to play anything. I think I drew the Jerry off the Leomon or something. It was something stupid like that. But then we're just going to go Ulforce again into security, hitting the blue memory boost, which is really unfortunate, but it's okay because we've got the Arrow Vigilon in the back, which is, again, what I was kind of going for, just gaining a little bit of resources for a couple turns to just go into another win condition in the back. Ulforce X to choke him to 1. Not that it matters too much now that I hit the memory boost, and we do have a blocker on field. Now, it is luckily because, and yeah, so now I'm down to 8 cards in hand, so I don't think there was any way for me to have gone down to 6. I could have gone down to 7, but it would have put him... I couldn't have gone down to 6 and then put him to, 1 memory, if that makes sense. Because I was at 3, I could have played a Lanamon, put him to 2, I'd be down to 7. He'd still force me to 8. I could have played, I don't think I had another 3-cost or 2-cost Tamer. So I don't think I could go, Tamer, play Lanamon. But even if I did, if I had V-Tamer tie, it'd be 7 cost total. So I'd still put him to, 3 or 4. Because I gained back the memory off the Vmon there maybe, but I put him to too much to where it didn't matter. So regardless, I'm just gonna forego my stack here. If he has the burst mode, he has it. I lost anyways, because again he burns the security and then he goes swing 2 checks, unsuspend, swing 2 checks, and then burst mode effect. Do the last swing. So once again, you can't. I lose in either situation, so you might as well do the scenario that improves your chances the most. So because he swung here, he told me this point he just didn't have burst mode. Because if he had burst mode, there was no reason to swing here. But I'm just gonna block anyways because I don't need that all force. I'm just gonna save myself 2 security in the off chance that he somehow I don't know gets a burst mode somehow for some reason. But he's just gonna swing again 2 checks with 2 memory. He doesn't even have enough for a searcher. So it was definitely the right move to put him to 1. If I had put him to any more, he would have been able to play the searcher first, potentially hit a burst mode, and then gone burst mode to bounce my Ulforce stack and then killed me. So here we're going to see the searcher, but not that it mattered because he didn't hit a burst mode anyways. Luckily, I did hit one early on in security, and that's what I was kind of talking about, that it was actually pretty fortunate for me. And then right here, I have to do this play because I need to get the stack suspended to do the Ulforce unsuspend to bounce the Mirage Galgamon, but it's actually very fortunate for me. I didn't add anything, so for once the whiff off the Arrow Vigilon helped me out, because then he would have been able to gain the memory on my turn. I would have been back to 1. Still wouldn't have passed turn, so it would have been fine. I would have still cleared the Mirage and done all this. I just wouldn't have kept turn, so he would have just had a Galmon with nothing else, and I could have just blocked his attack. So it didn't really matter, but it was just a kind of a funny interaction that I wasn't even thinking about until Dan pointed out to me, and then I was just like, all right, bro, what do you want me to kill you with here? Regular Lanamon, pre-release Lanamon, Leo, Ulforce X. So that's just going to be game, guys. So hopefully you enjoyed. I had a really fun time. This was probably my highlight match of the day. But let me know what you guys think of the games down in the comment section below. But thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.